What is going on, DJN Nation? It's your boy Byron Lindeque this time round, introducing you the show to the fantasy golf degenerates. We are here for the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, and it's, as always, a privilege, an honor, and a great time doing this with my co-host, Kenny Kim. What's up, Kenny?
What is up, Byron? Yeah, it should be a fun event. Always a little bit of weather involved here. We don't really know what's going to happen when it comes down to it. Looks sort of brisk this weekend, but it should be a fun event. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It's going to be a windy affair, but you know what? We don't like to get blown away on the golf course, but we like Underdog to blow us away with their promo codes. So use code Mayo over at Underdog Fantasy to get yourself up to $1,000 deposit bonus over there. We are going to be going over my draft tool that you can use, which we will use as a giveaway for this week's show. So in the comments below, let us know who's going to win this week. The first person to comment wins it. So if someone's already said a guy that you like, don't put that same guy down. You won't win because you will be after him. Just because, you know, some game theory. Basic ass game theory there. If you watch this show, you should know that by now. So put it in there. We're going to go over the draft tool here at some point during the show and just show you what it's about, because we have got some sweet stuff over at Underdog, because there's best ball going on, baby. If you've done NFL best ball, we've got some PGA, which we'll dive right into there. But before we do that, Kenny.
Real quick. So I've actually looked at Byron's, what's it called? What's the name of it?
It's called the Dog Dominator.
The Dog Dominator. So Byron actually created this by himself. This is unique. Nobody else has this. I have looked at it. It looks fucking incredible for your best ball drafts. Like, if you're going to be in best ball this year for PGA, you're going to want this tool. You're definitely going to want this tool. Byron will tell you how you can get it here once we go over it later on in the show. Hopefully he doesn't make me pay for it, but whatever. I will, because the way it looks like it is going to be a necessity for when you do your best ball drafts on Underdog. Use promo code Mayo. Get yourself a deposit match up to $1,000. It's time. We're full NFL season swing. We are getting into the new season of golf coming up. The best ball drafts are already out. The pick 'em plays we'll be going over every week on this show for Underdog. So if you haven't gotten on the Underdog yet, you really need to get on. My stupid ass has won $17,000
So much money
since February. Like I said, like, if my dumb ass can win money like this on Underdog, you can too. And you can especially win even more with the Dominating Dog. Is that what it's called?
The Dog Dominator, baby. The Underdog Dominator. The Dominator.
The Dog Dominator. Make sure you take a peek at this. We'll go over how this tool works on this show today. We will also be doing a live draft tomorrow on Byron's Back Nine Bets live at 7 p.m. every single Tuesday. If you can't catch Byron live, go to the YouTube page, Mayo Media Network YouTube page, hit the live button. It'll have the old recordings underneath the live. It took me a little bit to find those. I figured they would just be under video. That's what I'm letting you guys know.
They all live.
It is under live, even though it's not live anymore. All right, so that's how you get to see it. Make sure you go to Mayo Media Network on YouTube and watch all the shows. But I mean, watch this one, and also make sure you catch Byron's show tomorrow. Back Nine Bets every Tuesday, 7 p.m. It's going to have to be a staple. I'll be on every week that the pick 'em plays are out on Tuesdays and not on Mondays. So they're not out yet. They came out Tuesday last week. I expect them to come out Tuesday this week. So we should be on the show. Even if not, we'll do a live draft.
Yeah.
So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Let's go. And I went to Nebraska. I've signed up for 100 slow drafts. So they're starting to fill up piece by piece. I've got 8 hours per pick. So I'm going to be in hell over the next little while. But
how the fuck are you going to do that?
It's just...
You're just going to drive across the border every time you have to make a pick?
No, you can go across the border, do your crime over there, and then come back to your house. And it's what happened in Vegas comes back from Vegas, baby. So it's a slow draft. So it's like every person gets 8 hours. So, yeah. But Kenny, let's chat about last week. We'll get to the underdog stuff here in a little bit. I bet freaking Max Griesemann to win the tournament, and I had a top 3 placement bet on him.
Oh my God.
With each way.
Third.
He finished 4th because Justin Lower made eagle on the final hole to take him out.
Oh my God, really? Like when I looked, I don't even think I watched the last hole because I knew it was over. Wait, Lower made an eagle?
He eagled the last hole to tie second up. He was 1 shot behind Griesemann going into the last hole.
Yeah.
Bro, I want to shit myself.
Wait, Griesemann didn't birdie the last?
He did, but he was a hole like ahead of him. So had Lower just made birdie, he ties him up. I would have got split out placements, but not bad because it was only, but bro, it's just been one of these things. Tom Hoagie shit the bed on Sunday. It is what it is. I'm looking forward to the Butterfish. This is our tournament.
The Butterfish, it's us. So my ass hit Joe Highsmith. Highsmith each way, my 37th each way.
Let's go, baby.
Of the year. Also, the underdog play that I put out on Back 9 Bets last Tuesday. Hopefully, I know some of you guys tailed. That hit as well, so I didn't have to deposit anymore, which is good. Anymore now. I got to worry about it this week because I'm down to like $150 again. But we'll do $50. It should last me the week because sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of the second round. So I don't know if I want to play the second round. Usually first, third, and fourth or something like that. So I'll play 3. Hopefully I can win one of those again with a $50 bet and get that bankroll back up. And then maybe I can get up above $800 and withdraw money again. So this I'll see. Yeah.
Let's go. Yeah. Anything else you want to chat about from this tournament? It was,
let's say,
bro, is like 3 top 10s in this year. He's won twice.
2 wins. He's won twice. Another guy who's won twice this year. I don't think Eckroat's a rookie. So it's a little bit different than Dunlop. And then Nico, I think, won last fall.
Last year. Yeah,
so
they just go for the
technically it wasn't. Yeah, technically it wasn't 2 in 1 year, but still, I mean, there's talent here. Eckroat, you saw it. I wish I bet him. I did not. I ended up not using him in DFS either, even though I talked about him. I know you liked him in DFS last week a lot. So hopefully you got a little bit of run from him. But yeah, I mean, he played well. Griesemann just looks like he should be either he's going to win soon or he's going to be the Cameron Young of the shitty field events. Basically is what's going to happen. I mean, he didn't really have a chance yesterday. But because Laura just, Eckroat just went out there and just went ham. But like a couple of other guys that played pretty well. I mean, Maverick McNeely was another guy that I did like. Sam Stevens, of course, driver heavy course. You're going to go ahead and play him. Nico played well, but he sort of fell off a little bit on Sunday. A little bit worried about that coming into this week, how much energy he has with the win a couple of weeks ago in the top 6, but you saw him fade Sunday. Did not see that happening. He had been playing so well, and that really did hurt my underdog on Sunday. I had your boy Griffin Lower higher than 68, which he shit the bed. He did not play very well. I had lower than 68.5 for Mr. Highsmith, and he shot 4 under. So he hit, but Nico could not get it done. Could not get the second win. I only played 3 last week, so I could not get that 2 out of 3, which would have been really, really nice. But other guy, Richmond played well. Dylan Wu up there. Harry Hall's been playing good. Bunch of top 15s out there. Maverick McNeely, Wesley Bryan has been on sort of a run here recently. A bunch of made cuts. Really top finish this past time. Carson Young, of course, Justin Lower, we talked about. So, decent event. I didn't really get to watch too much until Sunday. But Sunday was, it got a little iffy there for Eckroat bettors. Congrats to all of you with the bogey on the last, but he still pulled through a 9 under 63 on Sunday. When you're, close to the lead, we'll usually get it done.
He made 9 birdies through the first 12 holes. I know producer Mike has made, 8 birdies less in his whole golfing career than Eckroat did in 12 holes. But I'm just kidding, Mike. We know
Throw
you're
me
gonna
under the
break
bus,
100
man.
soon.
Oh, I've got the 109 ball. I broke 110. Thank you very
Let's
much.
go.
So
There you go.
it's coming.
So Mike's making his way to the Eckroat 9 birdies in 12 holes, which is ridiculous. You know, that's just insane good golf. So nothing you can do about that. But hey, it is what it is. So let's get into this underdog draft, Kenny. I think this is what we want to get into. Yeah, I'm going to pull up my screen, share some stuff with y'all, and we can have.
Before we get in, I do want to say something. You know, I don't know if you guys who have been listening or who have been watching or listening have noticed that our pods have been going really, really long. Like, you know, hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, but they usually end in an hour, right? You're like, what's going on? So we've been doing this thing here recently where after the show ends, after the credits roll, after Jordan Belfort comes on once again as the outro song, we come back on and we talk about random shit that's not golf related. So, you know, we'll talk about movies, TV shows, life, crazy shit that's happening in our lives. So make sure you tune in. It's called OT with the FGD. It's every show, almost every show. Just make sure, you know, you should just listen to after the credits, and then you can hear me talk some wild and crazy shit about some wild and crazy topics. Now, I do want to talk about this one thing on the show, since I did talk about this last week. Going crazy with women, like just being like, fuck it, saying whatever the hell you want. So I tried it this week, okay? So I tried it. All right, so I went out Friday night. And a buddy of mine back in town, I hadn't seen him in about 5 years. We went to our old restaurant. We used to work together, this nice restaurant down in Reston, Virginia. So we went and had lunch in Reston, and when our old restaurant open, we went and saw, you know, sat down, said hi. The general manager there is a good friend of mine. So we went upstairs into the back office area to talk to my boy. Chatting with him, and I see this girl, and they're doing like painting touch up. And this restaurant, the owners of this restaurant are so fucking cheap, they make the goddamn managers do this. So I see this girl, right? Just fucking fine, sexy. Like she was wearing a tank top, and she had like a tattoo like right here where everyone could see. That's like the official sign of like daddy issues. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so fucking perfect. Like she was beautiful, body banging, right? Titties popping, right? You know, ass just bam, bam. Like every place you needed it, it was there, right? You know, really, really skinny waist. She was fucking redhead. I'm partial to redheads. I do love a fiery redhead. I've come to the realization that, like, you ever call a redhead girl fire crotch? Like it's sort of true. Like they're always like warmer in that area. Like I've been with many women with different hair colors, and the redheads, for some reason, they're always like warmer in that nice area that we like to be around.
Sometimes that's like cause for disease, though, Kenny. So you gotta watch out for that.
A couple of them, it's very, very possible. Very possible. I just got checked recently. I have a doctor's story here soon too. I'll tell it after. But so you know, I see her, and she's like, so I introduced myself. I'm like, but I didn't just normally introduce myself. I was like, I shook her hand. I was like, my name's Kenny, and I was like, you are fine as fuck. Straight up. I just said that to her. I've never even seen this girl. I was like, you are the finest girl I've seen today. You are fine as fuck. And she looked at me, and she was sort of like she hadn't heard that before, which is strange because she's incredibly sexy, right? But okay, she was young, probably somewhere between 25 and 30. I didn't get the age, and she's a manager over there. And so you could tell that she'd never really heard anyone. She was like, wow, she was sort of taken aback, but you know, she sort of liked it. She's like, oh, thank you so much, blah, blah, blah. And so I talked to some of the employees there, and everybody hates her. She's like the mean manager. But the thing is, like, that doesn't mean she's not good at her job. If you ever worked in the restaurant industry, you have to have one manager that's an asshole. It's a must. Like, if you run a restaurant right now and you're listening to this right now, and all the servers like all your managers, you're probably losing money. You're probably failing. You got to have that one asshole manager that people don't fuck with, that people don't like, because he's the one that can make people do their shit, right? And so I don't know if that's her. I don't know if maybe she's a straight up cunt. I have no fucking clue, right? I have no clue. But the cool thing is I use the wingman strategy because my boy is the GM, right? And I was like, okay, make sure you tell her she doesn't give me a number. She's fine. I'm kidding. I did not say that. But so now I'm trying to work him. So he's trying to put in like good words, like, bring me up because she asked about me, like after he hit me up. He was like, oh, she asked about you. I was like, well, yeah, she was definitely taken aback by the way I greeted him, because it was not a normal greeting that most men do nowadays, because it's just not how they roll. So like I said last week, I was like, fuck, I'm going back to like my mid-20s. Now I didn't like, smack her on the ass when I said it, like I probably would have in my mid-20s. But that's the part that I left off, because I know that we can't do that shit anymore. But like, so trying new things, and I'm feeling better about myself. There was a little bit of a funk that I went through. I was feeling fat, like ugly, out of shape. But losing the 35 pounds, it helped. I had to shave the beard because I was looking like too much like an old Asian. Like I was literally like stroking my beard, like I was in like a Wu-Tang movie or some shit like that, right? Like one of those things, like all the fucking time. So I decided to just stick with the stash.
Stash looks good.
So
Very good.
stash. We'll see, and that might not even stay, because the reason why I have the beard is so it can hide the double chin. Right now, here's how it goes with the doctor's office, how it correlates. So I just went to the doctor. I got my blood work done. So I've been sort of postponing the thing because, like, for the last, like, since Montreal, I've been slacking. I haven't really done any exercise. I haven't really been watching too much what I eat. I've still been sort of counting my calories, but I haven't been paying attention to like what. So I've been eating a lot of bread, a lot of carbs, shit like that. So I was really worried going into the doctor, thinking that they would be like, yo, your shit is all crazy again, right? Because my issues was triglycerides, blood sugar, and white blood cell. The white blood cell one's worrisome, because usually that means you're fighting off infection. Like 1 or 2 times when you go to the doctor, that's, whatever. You could just be getting sick. It's been about 4 or 5 trips to the doctor where my shit's been elevated. I was supposed to go see a cancer doctor or some shit. I never did. Anyways. So I go, I get my blood test, I get my blood done on Thursday. Friday, they call me and they were like, yeah, your blood sugar's normal now. Your triglycerides are normal. No more fatty liver. That was another issue I had. I guess with the exercise, from that I did prior, it still lingered. So no fatty liver. And then the white blood cell count was back to normal.
Oh,
which is great.
Well, fuck yes, dude. Let's go.
So I was down to like 238. So like 25 pounds down. Over 30 pounds since like February. But since I started to stop being fat, don't be fat, thing, I lost like 25 pounds. And then, so then out of the blue, the doctor's like, you want to try Mounjaro? I was like, what the fuck is Mounjaro? Right. And I guess Mounjaro is another version of Ozempic. So Mounjaro is Ozempic, but without the heart health. It focuses more on the weight loss. So you actually lose more weight with Mounjaro than Ozempic, but it doesn't have the heart health type stuff that Ozempic has. And so he was like, you want to try it? I was like, first off, why didn't you let me know about this 6 months ago when I was working my ass off and walking every day and going on a diet, when I could have just fucking taken this miracle shot? Right? I was like, oh, what the fuck? And then he was like, well, here's the thing. I endorse it now, but he's probably getting paid for it. They're doctors, they get paid. But he's been my family doctor for a while, so I trust him. And he was like, okay, well, you have to have good insurance. If you don't have good insurance or no insurance, it's $1,000 a month. All right. So I was like, oh, well, shit. So he filled me out a script. And I went to the doctor. I didn't think my insurance would cover it. And then my insurance was like, yo, $25 a month. Like, what the fuck? I was like, what the fuck? $25 a month? Deal. Let's get it. Let me get 2 months, bitch. And they're like, all right, because he gave me a prescription. 2 months. You start, first month is 2.5 milligrams. The second month is 5 milligrams. So I got both of those. I gave my first jab on Thursday. So I guess I'm supposed to be losing a bunch of weight. I've lost like 4 pounds. And the thing is, like, I've talked to some friends who've done it, who've lost like a lot of weight, and they're like, "Be careful losing it too quickly because you got all the crazy skin that you got to like fold up and shit." So I've been trying to like eat more because the thing is, it really suppresses your appetite.
Does
like
it?
I have not been able to finish a meal since I took the jab.
Okay, this is the thing.
So it's an injection.
I've been contemplating this.
But I mean, you're already skinny enough.
I guess so.
What I would do,
could work it off.
I would go Ozempic for you because then that adds the health heart stuff for your heart.
Gotcha.
It makes you have a good heart.
Okay.
So if you go and do it, I would probably go Ozempic instead. My heart is actually.
This is also not medical advice, people. This is just us speaking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of it's medical advice. I did research on it, but yes. Don't take my medical advice. But for this is like this. But what were you going to say? What were you worried about?
Well, I was just worried that like okay, so back in the day when I lost about a lot of weight, like I got down to probably like 190, right? I would say about there. And the thing is that I was just smoking too much weed. Okay, so it was like
I've been smoking weed too.
Okay, but the thing is, like, when I stopped smoking weed, I tried to replace that with snacks. So like it was a thing. It's like a habit thing. I think eating for me is a habit where I got into a new habit of smoking weed, and anytime I got hungry, I would just be like, okay, well, let's go rip a bowl real quick, right? So then flipped over to that.
That seems like bad idea.
Okay.
Like when you get hungry, you smoke a bowl. That
I
makes
did.
You hungry.
Yeah, I did. I know,
that
but
seems
it worked.
Counterproductive. It
worked.
And eventually you're
but
just so baked you can't eat. You're just out. Like
essentially, yeah.
I'm never so baked that I can't eat.
Does it?
I mean, I'm eating 100, 200 milligram edibles. So,
yeah. So my question is, does it suppress the cravings? I guess.
Yeah,
it does.
Okay. Okay. So I'm trying to not lose like a shit because I've realized this shit works. Like I've noticed that like I couldn't eat. I went out to lunch on that Saturday, and I went out a nice Italian restaurant. Right. I got the bolognese house specialty. I couldn't eat a third of it, and it was a lunch portion.
Now, do you feel like sick when you're doing that?
No.
It's not like, I can't
now,
eat because
nausea,
I'm not
it
feeling
depends.
awful.
No,
right?
no, it depends. Nausea is a symptom for some people.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I'll talk about this later. What makes it worse is alcohol.
Fuck, you're out of luck then.
No. I don't drink as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe 2 or 3 times a month. I might have to trim it down to 1 or 2. But what was the train of thought that I was going for? I was trying to answer a question. Okay. And so, yes. So it makes me not eat a whole meal, but like I get high too. So when I eat the edible at night, I get cravings and I get the munchies, but not even as close.
Not bulging yourself.
It used to be.
Okay.
And because of that, I'm able to not do it as much. But I've been trying to eat like a late night something a couple of times a week. Because is what my plan is, because I don't want to like lose so much weight so fast that I got all this skin dangling around everywhere, because that shit's just ugly. And so I'm trying to like pace myself. I don't know if this is the right way to do it. Right? I have no idea, but we'll see. But I've lost like 4 pounds in 4 days.
And you've done really nothing different apart from.
Oh, I mean, eating less because of the drug.
Just in general, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
But that's not you.
I mean,
that's the drug.
That's the drug. Yeah, that's the drug. So, I mean, we'll see. And so again, leading back to the female thing, confidence coming back. Hopefully, the double chin is gone, and I'll just run no more beard anymore. To look fresh. And we'll see how it goes. I felt good about this weekend. We'll get back in the game and start, harassing women one more again, like I used to all the time.
Hey, man, I think you found a golden era for yourself here, Kenny. You're going to bring back harassment, and you're going to make it great again. I think that.
But not like, I don't know. I don't know how far I'll go. We'll see. It worked. It worked it worked on Friday night. Just saying
Harassment.
random ass shit. So we'll see how far that goes.
Yeah. I mean, if you like blending in some chivalry with the harassment, then
I mean, I do.
Then
But
that's
it's not
the way-
harassment. It's just saying like shit that girls wouldn't normally, hear. And
2024 harassment.
yeah, 2024 harassment. 2004 harassment was definitely a little different.
Yes. Yeah.
And it was a lot. It was a lot easier with an 8-ball in my pocket too. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be honest, man. I live in Roanoke, Virginia, and the women there. I mean, you're either gonna get a God-fearing country woman or you're gonna get a fucking coke whore. That's basically the two choices you have in Roanoke, Virginia. And I sort of drifted towards the coke whores. That's just the way I roll. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot easier to do what I wanted to do back then with these girls. Nowadays, it's a little bit different. Nowadays, I got to use I don't know. Myself and my funniness, and hopefully I lose a little bit of weight, and we'll see how it goes.
Hey, buddy. Seems like, well, you've got the one, just the other's on its way. So we're going to.
My boy's working on that. It's not like I have her number yet or anything. So he's working on it. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. All right. Let's go, baby. I love it. Anything else, Kenny?
Oh, no. We'll save the rest for OT.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. It's also the fastest growing fantasy app in the industry. I personally like the pick'em games. Pick whether your favorite players will have a higher or lower stat total in this week's game for a chance to win big. Can win up to 100 times your money in a single night. Pick between 2 and 5 players to build a pick'em entry. Can also make rivals picks, which pits 2 players against each other. Now, the reason I like the pick'em games is because of these things called scorchers. There's these little chili peppers next to the golfers' names, and if you click on that, it adds to your multiplier, so you can win even more money. Sign up today with promo code Mayo and get your first deposit doubled up to $100, as well as an instant pick'em special. Must be 18 or over and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
All right, Mike, let's do this thing. I'm going to share my screen when you give me the green light.
And this is we're gonna go over your dog dominator.
The Dog Dominator, it's available on Patreon at The Model Maniac. That's my Patreon site. Still working on figuring out how to actually put it in there, but that's where you can find it. Link will be in the description below. Can I share, Mike?
Yep, you're good.
Boom. All right. So here it is. This is the Dog Dominator. And what basically we're looking to do this week, or this till, best ball is where you draft 10 guys and you don't set any lineups after that. When it's done drafting, that's it. So the strategy about best ball is to have as many guys playing at as many events as possible. And I think just drafting randomly is very difficult to figure out unless you've done tons and tons of research and figured that all out.
Now,
what this does...
One thing while you're doing that, I know you said that your strategy is to play as many events as possible, correct? But do you have a way to show who's in the signature events? Because because the thing is, does best ball go by money?
No, so let me get into this. Yeah. So best ball doesn't even have finishing position points anymore. So if you take finishing position points out, you can have a guy that's made tons of birdies and finished 20th, but he's only 4 or 5 shots back of the winner. And
wait, how do you score in best ball then?
So it's all about score under par. It's about, let me pull this up. So you've got score to par is where you're kind of looking at. So easy events. So the fun thing is everyone's going to be drafting all the guys playing the signature events, which by some capacity, they're going to have easy tournaments. But all the majors, some of the signature events, API, Memorial, the Genesis, those kind of places, the Open Championship, they are hard to get under par. There's less birdies. The finishing position points are gone. And you're going to have people then playing in the same pod because it's broken down into 4 pods or rounds where you're going to have The first round, I think, ends at the Genesis Invitational from the Century. Then the second one, it's Mexico Open to the Valero. Then the third one is the Masters to the Memorial. And then you've got the Canadian Open to the Open Championship.
So how do you win? Do you
6 people in a draft, and you draft 10 guys. One person of the 6 goes through to the next round. Then in the second round, one person of the next 6 goes through to the next.
And that's per each round. So it's
per each
these
pod.
tournaments. Okay.
Each of these pods.
Okay.
So
all right.
that's basically what you're kind of looking at. If I kind of make it 75%, you can see the whole thing over here. And that's where you kind of want this tool to be on your side, because then you can see, okay, I'm looking, let's just pretend we got the 4 pick here, Kenny.
But how do you get points though? Like it's
DFS points without finishing positions. And it's exacerbated. So like a triple is -7, I think. Okay. Whereas a triple,
so it's straight up like fantasy scoring is what it is, with no finish position. That's it.
Yeah.
So birdies are a certain amount of points. Eagles are a certain amount of points. Pars are a certain amount of points. So okay, so the strategy is very, very different.
Yes, it is.
I could see, because
like Corey
like
Connors, who hasn't finished inside the top 10 ever, still crushed.
Even making all 4 majors doesn't even matter then, because the majors are the ones where you score the worst, where you'll get triples, right?
Triples hit you. So in DraftKings, the points for a double bogey or worse, not even a triple, it's just double bogey or worse, is -1 point. And it's half a point loss for, I think, a bogey. Whereas you can get bogey streaks, and it seems like it's endless. So if you get a streak of 7 birdies, like Austin Eckroat's streaking was going nuts. I think.
So do you get a 3 birdie streak? So did you get
4 birdie streak? You get for each additional leg of the streak, I believe you get an extra point.
Oh, wow.
So you get the 3 for the 3, but then if you make a 4th birdie, you're getting the birdie points, you're getting the under par points, and you're getting a 4th point for a streak. The fourth streak. A 5th one, you're even further under par, another birdie. Like Eagles, boom, massive amounts of points for these kind of fantasy points that you can make, because again, the finishing positions are out of the equation now. And that is a game changer. And it changes up top here. I've got these numbers are basically the average score to par per round. And Century is -4.5. But then you've got the Open Championship. So just for this final pod, let's go look at this, for instance. We've got the Travelers, the US Open, and the Open Championship in this final bunch here for the big events that the big boys can make it into, right? Those are all over par events, apart from maybe the Travelers. The Travelers is a nice birdie fest, but you're going to have 4 other events at the Canadian Open, the Rocket Mortgage, and the John Deere Classic, where shitty guys are going to be scoring way more fantasy points than the guys playing in the majors.
So, like,
you know what I'm saying?
You almost have to think about lineup construction. When you're doing the draft, you're not trying to
you have to think about.
You're not trying to get 8 guys that play signature events every week, right? You want a blend.
Yes.
Would you think that maybe six guys who play the signature events and 4 that don't would be a good way to go? Or 5 and 5 maybe, and have one guy who's close? Now, I see you have projected starts.
Yes, sir.
On this.
So
that seems like something that's super important.
Yes, sir. So this is what I've been grinding my tits off on. All right. So going and looking at how these guys, so obviously signature events, the top 50 in the FedEx Cup. So you got to have FedEx Cup points. Like your ranking and your priority ranking allows you to get into specific events. In the majors, you need a top 50 to get into the Open Championship and the Masters. So you might be outside the top 50 for FedEx Cup points, but Tom Kim is sitting inside because he's 25th in the world. So he's guaranteed basically to make it in all these majors, even though he's outside the signature events, because he's 56th on the FedEx Cup. So you need to be paying attention to how you can get these guys in there. And like Max Griesemann is inside the top 50 in the world. So he's in these majors. So there's guys that are like Seamus Power, who's not inside the top 50. Who's this guy? Eric Cole. So Eric Cole is 54th in world ranking points. He's not in the Masters or the Open Championship, but he plays a shit ton of tournaments. And I put that all in here. If we screwed along here, he's not playing in the Masters over here. If we go over to the more right here, he's not playing in the Open Championship. So I've gone through and scheduled everyone based off their priority rankings. I've scheduled them based off past events that they typically play at. I've spent so much fucking time on this thing. So it's going to be amazing, right? So let's just do this, for instance, Kenny, without even thinking. We'll just practice something weird here, okay? We've got the 4th pick. Here's the ADP. Can you see what's cooking on the screen here?
Yeah.
Okay. You can pick. So let's pick anyone you want here from Colin Morikawa, Rory McIlroy, Sanjay.
All right, we're going Rory.
Okay.
Let's go.
Which is quite funny because Rory, if you take a look at his actual score to par and under par total for the calendar that's going up to the Open Championship, he plays probably the least tournaments out of everybody. He's projected for only like 15, and he might pull out. That's putting him in every signature event, excluding the Century, right? So we needed to get that one out of here, actually. Sorry. But it's the way it's going, and this is an old file because the one I just did crapped out right before. But Rory's going down. You take that Century out there, he's 14 starts. If he misses another signature event, he's down to 13 starts. So there's other guys that play a lot more. But let's go ahead. So for the 9th pick a guy anywhere south of 9 for ADP.
Let's go back with Victor having a breakout year.
All right. Victor also last year was one of the least amount of like tournaments played. You know, he's projected for 13.
But do you think it's okay if for those first 2 picks to go with somebody like that? Because you're going to be picking one of the best golfers in the world, and most of them are going to have a limited schedule. So should we go that route, or do we go fucking weird?
Let's just do your thing and see where you get to. Up top here, you're seeing how this is changing every time I pick someone. It's showing you how many players you have for each different event. And the magic number is like 6 because you can't count more than 6 guys. It's the DFS lineup, right? So 6 guys, that's it. So if you've got 6 and like 2 somewhere else, you're looking to kind of fill in the other tournaments so that you can have more in those ones, because a 7th guy in that tournament that you've got 6 already, it's not necessarily going to help you as much as just having a 3rd guy over there, you know, unless someone else, you know,
another person people maybe target would be people that are like outside the top 50, but you think that they can get into it at some point in time, like a Tom Kim, right? Tom Kim's outside the top
Tom
50,
Kim,
correct? Yeah, let's go to Tom Kim 3rd.
Okay, 21st ADP. We got the 21st pick here. Who do you want to go with from Wyndham, Clark, and Dan?
Where's their OWGR? You don't have
OWGR is.
Oh, where's their FedEx Cup? Where's their FedEx Cup?
And then FedEx Cup is next to it, right over there.
So what's the ranking mean that you have on the far left? That's where they are.
This is my ranking for the guys.
Okay.
And then this is the adjusted ranking. So when you make a selection for each dude, it takes into account how many of these tournaments have been played, and it adds ranking points to a guy that would fill the holes of the ones that have only one person in it, really. You know what I'm saying?
Based on what I was thinking, you want to target people that are going to be in the 60th, somewhere between 40 to 70, right? And so you look at the 2024 FedEx Cup points. That's what you would have to look at. So somebody else like a Ben Griffin seems like would be a good person. Maybe you go Spieth, right? Because he has to play these non-events. So
let's do
talk strategy as well.
Ben Griffin, Jordan Spieth. So we've done five guys, and you don't have a single dude playing at Mexico now. So you five tournaments, 5 picks in, and you now will for certain not have someone playing at the Mexico Open, which, by the way, if it doesn't blow windy, is a fuck ton of birdie points out there. You know what I'm saying? So
so then that grid on the top left is where you're seeing all that shit you're saying, right?
Yes.
And
the adjusted
ranking is sick, bro.
Yeah, brother. So like the adjusted ranking changes big time. So Tom Hoagie is going to fill up a big gap. Brian Harmon's going to fix some stuff up. JT Poston, their ranking's getting better because of the needs that you have and the missing schedules.
So
Because you've loaded up in guys that are all overlapping versus you.
5. You know that you ain't got no one playing the Mexico round 2 event 1 or whatever, right?
Right.
So then you want to find somebody who's playing that event. You just go through your grid here. You find a guy who's playing Mexico Open, Mackenzie Hughes, that can play
Yes,
it, or
exactly.
or Killer Keith or JT Poston, or Keith Mitchell. Like, okay, so you see, this tool will really, really help you.
So
when it
Mackenzie,
comes to these
boom.
underdog drafts, and we'll we'll do a draft live tomorrow night on Bat9 Bets on Mayo Media Network, 7 p.m. If you can't catch Byron's show live, watch it on the replay. Just hit the live button on YouTube to find it.
Yeah. So, all right, Kenny, we got 3 more. We went Mackenzie Hughes, Keith Mitchell. You've got the 45th pick next up. You've got Andrew Novak, Adam Svensson, Brendan Todd, Maverick McNeely. McNeely fills another Mexico Open, by the way. And he's also McNeely.
Yep,
is
let's go McNeely. Let's go McNeely.
So McNeely, boom, he's in there now. So now we've got 3 starts, and we've actually
Let's go. So you want to avoid every single live golfer.
you do like Bryson is NA here because he's got an ADP, but what is 4 starts going to do for you in majors? You know, like it's not even like 4 starts at the RBC Heritage Easy, the CJ Cup. It's like difficult venues. You're not getting any utility from him in this.
And you get no bonus points for finishing position.
No finishing position points, only scoring points.
Give me Min Woo last. Min Woo.
Okay. And by the way, it looks like we only have 2 guys playing in the Century because Rory's not playing. Victor is.
So you need all of those to get the 6.
Yeah, you're trying to get as many to 6, and now we've only got 2 guys at the Century, which is -4.5 under par. It's the easiest event on the schedule, dude. So you are fucked because like your advancement rates are not going to be good with this lineup. So
we need to go someone who has a win.
So yeah, you can just scoot under here. You can go down to this thing. You filter out the blanks, so you can find Century right over here. But now you've only got 30 seconds. If you're doing a live draft, this is why this tool's badass, is because you got the adjusted rankings that's going to guide you as you're going along, because you can't just go and filter all this stuff and like find these dudes. You know, you have to figure out some guys. But let's go to down the board here. We've got Denny McCarthy is a good option at 40 maybe. You got Sepp Straka playing. You've got Jason Day is one of my favorite sleepers, by the way. He's like grossly under.
Let's go Day. Let's go Jay Day for that thing.
There's 60 people that get drafted every draft, and he's only getting drafted 56. He's playing in all of these events. He's scoring lots and lots of points. He's like, my sleeper right now is Jason Day. Mark my word, Jason Day is not going to be 56th ADP for long. People are going to figure this out. But right now, this is where you want to be getting him in like the last round of your drafts, dude. Jason freaking Day. Guaranteed to the Century, guaranteed to play all the big tournaments in the majors as well.
I thought there were 10 rounds.
Yes. So you've got 10 rounds. So we can go Jason Day just over here, and then we can find.
Day. Just go ahead and put in Day.
And then we can go Denny McCarthy as well, just for shits and giggles, right?
All right.
And then it saves you a little bit, but you still. So now you managed to find 3 guys extra for Mexico, but then we've got round 3 of round 2. The second event in the 3rd round is the RBC Heritage. So now you've only got 3 guys playing in that one, you know, because we found a winner.
When you're doing your draft, quickly go to that, click, see who's playing there, and then who can play there. Now this is not exact, like you know, but I mean.
No, but you can do your best to predict. The schedule is
and
not.
You had already predicted it for us, correct? Yes,
and
there you go.
The reason the other one broke is because I was fiddling with a way, so you can just go in and edit the schedule how you feel fit. Because we're going to go follow all the accounts on X of these tournaments. They release commitments. Like when they get the news, they want to hype that shit up. So they will, like the Mexico Open will tell you there might be 1 or 2 big names that land up playing there. And as you can see, like it is super difficult to find guys that are playing in the Mexico Open. Like the overall skill set playing in that tournament is like catastrophically bad.
So do you think it's more important to get 7 golfers in every single part of that grid, or
I've tried, and I've got to like
the best players,
at least 6, with 2 of them being 5. What my motto for this thing is going to be is, it's a lot easier to predict who is going to play where than who is going to play well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can control how many guys I project to play each tournament. And then I can get my 6 guys just rocked up. I can't predict, maybe you can, how well they're going to play when they do that. So if you have like really good guys that shit the bed and you've only got 3 or 4 of them, then you are like big time losing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, the finishing position points aren't going to be that important. So a guy winning a tournament isn't that important anymore. It's just volume. You're just trying to mass produce points right now. And getting as many guys in as you can is the way to go. So it's like, it's essential to know like what's going on. You know, like if you don't have guys at the RBC Heritage where they're scoring at the average finishing position is 6 under par. You know what I'm saying? Like, but then you stacked up on some other majors where 5 guys at the RBC Heritage can totally match 6 guys at a major.
I like it.
You know what I'm saying? So it's super nerdy. It's super useful. And you can change, you know, when I drop it in there, it's obviously a prototype. So if there's something that random happens, reach out to me. But it's in the Discord. It's in my Patreon. Go grab it. Use it for your tools. It's been super helpful for me, you know, to use. So yeah, I'm going to try and still figure out exactly how to get 6s in every single box, but it's tricky, you know, because Mexico Opens, like overlapping Mexico Opens with good golfers is tricky. So, but that's it. That's your little underdog strategy there. Use code Mayo when you sign up, friends. And then go and check out this on the Patreon account. Grab it from me over there, because I don't think you're going to succeed on a mass basis of like 150 drafts if you don't know who's playing which events and how many guys are playing each event in your draft.
Love it, man. It's a great tool.
Boom. All right. Sweet shit. Let's go, baby. All right. So we're back to what's next? We've got some kickback golf bets, babes. Kickback Golf. Go use code FGD15 over at kickbackgolf.com. Link in the description as always. You know, Kenny and I and Mike, we got our little Christmas money from you guys. So we really appreciate those that went and bought our Kickback Golf jerseys. And we didn't get enough money. So you need to go buy more. You know, this is Christmas time coming up. It's November. Go buy some stuff for your dad, for your son, for your husbands. Whatever you want to do, go grab it out there. Kickback Golf. Awesome product, and the material is so soft. It is like one of the softest materials for like a athletic jersey. It works wonderfully. So Kenny, I don't have any bets placed. I'm going to maybe throw a few out on my show tomorrow, but it's going to be windy as balls. Thursday looks like 30-mile-per-hour winds, which Bermuda can handle, but I need to know who's going off in what wave, and I need to figure out when the wind is blowing where. So
that is a smart move. That is a smart move. I'm not smart. So I went ahead and I have 3 bets. I only went 3. I didn't go crazy. But I just took some early numbers of people that I liked who could play well in the wind. First, it's going to be Lucas Glover. I'm sorry, not Lucas Glover. Justin Lower. One of the better players in the wind. Good finish last year. A couple of top 20s here in the past. You know, when it comes to wind play, he's like top 10 in my model with the stats that I'm looking for this week. Next, it's going to be... I think Berger, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Berger, 30-1. Another guy played well on short courses, 1 pebble, right? Similar length, has played well in the wind. Honestly, like, you know, cream of the crop golfer in this field. You know, just been like, you know, top 15.
Getting back from injury.
Yeah, top 15 in the world. You know, at one point in time in his career, he's got 4 wins. And like the thing is, I'm thinking like if you think about how this tournament is going to play, if you think it's going to be super windy, and the score is going to be like the year Lucas Herbert won or Brian Gay won when they won at -15 here on this course, you know, Berger's wins are minus 13, minus 10, minus 15, minus 18, like in that range. So I like him at 30 to 1, 8 places. Lower was also 8 places. And then I'm going sort of out there, crazy Carl Juan, who came runner-up here, who was our runner-up here in the, I think last year, or maybe not runner-up, but he's played well here in the past. He has an 11th place recently, just a couple weeks ago, at the Desert Classic, the Black Desert Classic. So 225 to 1 with 8 places. I'm hoping for a top 8, basically, with him. Even though you only get 1/5 back for that. I suck at math. It's like 20,
like
40.
55 to 1, 40 to 1.
For 8 places.
Yeah.
I mean, sure. I put $10 on it. He comes in 8th place.
Maybe he wins the damn thing.
If he wins it, then we're rolling. If he wins it, we're rolling. But those are my 3. Lower 22 to 1. Burger 30 to 1. Carl Juan 225 to 1, all with 8 places. And like Byron, you'll get the rest of my bets on Gup's Corner on Wednesday, because I'm going to wait to see if there's any type of wind wave advantage that we need to look at going into the event.
And just some strategy on the bets. While you were speaking, I was reminded of myself that I do have a Ben Griffin bet at 20 to 1, but it's at a book that I can cash out at. So it's not why I'm mentioning that. It's just like, if you have weeks like this where it's windy, bet the bets that have nice numbers at places that have cash out options, because then if he lands up on the wrong side of the draw, you still got a good number. You can cash it out. But if he lands up on the right side of the draw, you're Gucci. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of just the way you might want to look at it this way, and just figure out where you want to go with your bets. With cash out options, those are if you have lots of sports books to your availability.
It's funny because it was between Griffin and lower for me for that first bet. And the reason I went lower was just because I knew everybody was betting Griffin. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I like them both. So, and I think they're pretty even. Maybe, and Griffith's might be a little bit better. But the reason why I picked lower was because
he's boiling out right now.
Everyone's going to be on Griffin. Everyone's going to be on. Everyone's going to play him on DFS. But let's get to the DFS. Let's get to fantasy, right?
Don't you want to do your preview?
Yeah, let's talk about the course.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour. It's going to head to Bermuda for the Butterfish Bermuda Championship from Port Royal Golf Course. The strength of this field has been garbage over the years. No exception. Garbage. But it's the fall. It's okay. There are definitely guys I never heard of that are going to play this week. So we'll see how that goes. And not as much as previous years, maybe because I don't know. I have another year under my belt of golf watching and stuff, and I can get these names. But there's been a couple of guys in this tournament where I was like, who is this person? I had no idea. Now, when the field is this week, just simple game theory strategy that everyone pretty much plays mostly. In GPPs in the field this week, anybody that's chalk is worth a fade, right? I mean, just because of volatility, it's not like you're having like a $11,500 Xander Schauffele who never misses a cut, or Scotty Scheffler at $12,000 who never misses a cut. These guys miss cuts often, right? You know what I'm saying? Like often. So even if they're playing well, they can have something happen. I mean, look at Schmidt last week, right? The guy was playing out of his fucking mind. Now the quad that he had on Friday or whatever, or Monday probably didn't help. But these guys aren't like the best of the best. Shit like that can happen. More often than not with guys of this caliber, which is still the best in the world, just not as best as you'd see at a major, at a signature event. If they had cuts, fuck, that shit sucks. But very reasonable to think about fading guys who are going to be highly owned.
The most expensive guy in this field hasn't finished inside the top 10 this year. He's got a T10, but hasn't got a T9 or better.
Yeah.
He's the most expensive.
Like 7K, 6K chalk. You better love that motherfucker.
Better be a radiant, sexy son of a...
Yeah, you better love that motherfucker. 7K, 6K chalk. I'll just say that. All right. Now. All right. Now, weather looking crazy. We'll see. 20 to 35 mile per hour gusts like all week, basically. Wind changes. Like the first 2 days, it blows one direction. The next day, it blows another. Next Sunday, it's blowing that way. Wind's going to be wild. I would definitely wait until Wednesday to make your lineups when it comes down to it, right? We've seen drastic differences in winning scores here. Minus 24 last year by Camille, right? Minus 24, or Brendan Todd? Brendan fucking Todd, I think, shot minus 24 here. No, not mistaken, right? And then you got, Gay and Herbert winning here at minus 15. Much windier. The last day that Seamus Power, when he won in 2022, he was tied for the lead going into Sunday, right? Pretty easy course, short, par 71, shot 71 and won.
Yeah.
Okay, so he went into Sunday tied for the lead, shot 1 under par, and won because Sunday was ridiculously windy.
Yes.
So, make sure you pay attention to the waves. If you're playing underdog, we talked about this in strategy before, right? Like, you need to really pay attention to the weather waves and the stacks when people are going off. And it's cool because underdog actually lists the exact tee time, which makes it a lot easier. You check your little wind finder, see their time. It's a big, big factor when it comes to underdog. This is the 5th time the course was played here. Like I said, 24 under, 15 under. Those have been the scoring discrepancies when it comes down to it. Let's see. Another aspect, the previous finish is how length, means absolutely nothing out here. You'd think 2021 it was like all bombers, but then every other year it's like random. It's just like off the tee length really, really does not matter. Now the course itself, 6,850-ish yard, par 71, 3 par 5s, 4 par 3s. The par 5s are short with all 3 measuring under 555 yards. These 3 holes will be the easiest holes on the course. The ones on the front 9, if I'm not mistaken, are usually with the prevailing wind. So literally everybody can make those. Now, even the shortest hitters are going to have the opportunity to get the ball on the green on those holes. The par 4s are going to be short as well. 6 of them under 400 yards. And we might only see 1 play over 450. Now, again, a lot of these, it's almost linksy. I wouldn't call it links. But like when it comes down to it, like with the wind direction plays a major part in this, and of course undulation. There's massive undulations here, uphill, downhill. So that definitely adds a little bit of length or takes it away. The par 3s, pretty long. All 4 over 200 yards. These are going to be the hardest holes on the course when it comes down to it this week. Off the tee, golfers are going to see average size fairways, bunkers, and landing areas. Plenty of elevation changes throughout the course, especially off the tee. The rough surrounding the fairway is zoysia. Shouldn't be too tall, shouldn't be too thick. Water is also going to play around 7 holes, 5 to 7. You really got to miss on a couple for water to be there, but 5 definitely. Now, the course is so short that most golfers are going to hit less than driver on most holes other than par 5s. On approach shots, golfers are going to see smallish to average size greens that don't have too much slope or undulation. The greens have been fairly soft, like 3 of the 5 years here. And last year, a couple years ago, they were like crazy soft. Now, let's see. Wall irons are definitely going to be. Ooh, I just messed up my thing. Wall irons definitely going to be in play. You're going to see a lot of shots from like 125 to 150 and from 200 plus. Those are going to be like the majority of places. The greens are Bermuda. Like I said, they're going to play slow for the wind, probably less than 10.5. I would expect if it's going to be that windy. Long iron play, wedge play, putting. That's what I'm looking for this week. The last 3 of the last 4 years, the leaders are all near the tops in putts per green in regulation. Putting contest. If there was no weather, it would be a putting contest. The weather definitely adds another layer to this event. Hopefully we get some of this win because it definitely makes the tournament more interesting. What are you looking for in golfers?
Oh, yeah. Just thinking back to when I think Lucas Herbert won that one, Kenny. Scott Stallings went off on the back 9 with the staggered tees, which means you've been playing bad. Like, I don't think anyone has ever won a tournament playing off the back nine on a Sunday, starting there. And he went on a complete heater, like, and got to like fifth, I think. Something crazy. And this course is, I think the back nine is protected by trees more so than the front. So when it was,
I thought it was the front. I thought it was the
kind of-
first 6 holes.
well,
I think it's
it is.
There is, yes, there is a section. I think it's the first 6 holes that play are a little bit more protected.
Okay. Because I was trying to figure out how he got, or maybe when the wind picked up, he, had figured his whatever, because he made it to the front later, right? So he could go nuts. That makes sense. So once the wind picked up, he went crazy. So there's weird things with this golf course, and people are going to do you're going to see names on this leaderboard that you haven't seen in research. Like, it's going to be crazy. So feel free to click whatever the fuck you want when it comes to names, because it's going to be windy, it's going to be chaotic, and it's going to be fun. The 3 hours.
It's not what we're doing. We're not clicking random names. I'll tell you that, right?
No. But you know what I'm saying is, like, feel free to go a little weird. Like,
Yes.
if, like, this is the time to do
If a
it.
guy
So,
catches your eye that you see projected owned, like any glimmer that you can see from a guy, and he's going to be like 3%, oh, fuck it.
yes.
Like maybe that type of thought, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying just randomly click names, but I think what I do want to ask you, Kenny, is contest selection in these kind of conditions with such volatility. Do you want to go to if you're betting, for instance, single entries that are $33, you want to go to the quarter jukebox and just max out as much as you can to get to 33, get as many different lineups in there with as many different names that you kind of like that are low owned? Or do you want to kind of have a tight player pool that can kind of really just...
I like what you're thinking. I do like what you're thinking. We're trying to make it smaller because there's so many variables in this type of event with the weather and the field. So, finding guys, like random guys out there who can just get on top of the leaderboard that no one is owning might be more palatable in an event, like mentally, when you're making your lineups, because I know it's hard for some people. Like I said, like any type of glimmer that you can find in a guy who's going to be low owned. I like that. I like that going with mass multi, trying to go down and building more lineups this week because that does make sense.
Yeah, I've been leaning into the single entry stuff the last little while, probably because I'm just a little lazy now on Wednesday.
I do that for cash.
Yeah, cash is this the week to play cash, Kenny?
Not really.
I know you're a cash guy.
I do, yeah.
I'm
playing less.
Okay, there we go. Exactly.
A little bit.
So
I'm playing. That's just because I'm broke. And I have to do, and I suck at fucking DFS, and I have to deposit every goddamn fucking week.
I wish insurance companies would subsidize DFS bankrolls as well. We need DFS insurance.
That'd be amazing.
Ooh, maybe that's the thing we can do, is gambling insurance.
I just don't understand. I have the good players every week.
Oh, bro.
I just can't win. And then cash has been okay. But the thing is, the last 3 weeks prior to this week, I'd won. But one or two of the weeks, I won, but didn't win all of them. I was right on the line, right? You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't win the usual amount that I would have won. And then last week, I just fucking, it was horrible.
Yeah. Last week was a disaster.
Last week was a fucking disaster. And so my bankroll back down to zero.
Yeah.
And unlike Underdog, where once I get to $800, I withdraw everything that I have over $800. And I don't deposit until I lose that $800. And the goal is to last as long as you can. And so last week was big because I was down the line my last 50 in the first round, and I didn't have to deposit. It's been about 2-3 months since I deposited on Underdog. And so, but for DFS, I just put in what I play, expect to lose it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
that's DFS for you anyway.
Because it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it's because I don't play the right events. That's probably exactly what it is. And I'm going for the lottery pick every time, and I'm not even maxing it out. I'm putting 40 lineups, but I'm only playing what I can afford. And so because cash keeps me afloat. right?
Yes.
I have to play cash. Like, so I can't like just go all GPP and make all my cash lineups GPP again, because if I lose all that, I don't win it. There's no chance. I mean, in cash, I win in my lifetime. I'm probably over 60% win in cash lineups per week. Now this year has been pretty good overall. Last year was okay. The year before was horrible, like insanely horrible.
Yeah.
And then you go like 2018, it was like 78%. It was fucking. I don't know what happened that year. I don't know what happened that year, but so it's always up and down. But because of that, because I suck at GPP so horribly, which I don't understand, because I roster like 6 guys in the top 10 every week, and I'm overweight on them every week. Every week.
How many people in your contest, Kenny? In the big one?
Oh, what, like 25, 30,000, 40,000? Yeah, it's a lottery ticket. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can win 25K, and I can make a bunch of lineups. Like,
Right.
I don't want to make one lineup and put like $50 on it. And I don't, maybe I should. Maybe that's
what I've been doing. Just playing against 350 other people is a lot more like one guy can blow out and you still can potentially, make it into the cash. So
yeah, maybe that's what I do.
But not this week. No, you got me on also.
Oh yeah, you're right. Not this week. We can go stand. You're right. Not this week. But maybe that's what I have to do
going forward after this week. And before we do that, shout out to Billy Ho Sports on X. He tweeted at us one of the funniest freaking things. I don't know if Michael put it up ever, but it has to be made a tribute here, because he called it out as the Butterfish Bermuda Championship and did one of the sketchiest photoshops ever. Kenny looks like he was in 2014 harassment situations. I got my fishing hat on. It's great. It's a great thing. It's on the Fantasy Golf Degenerates X account. It's been retweeted out there. It's freaking hilarious.
It's funny. I had like long hair back then. Slicked it back. I was a good-looking motherfucker now.
Let's go, dude. Hey, Ozempic's going to get you the promised land now, or Jamira, or whatever.
Moonjaro.
There we go.
Moonjaro.
I feel like we have to give off a bunch of like side effects just by saying that name on air. But hey, let's get into the 10K range and go to Seamus Power and Mackenzie Hughes. 2 internationals kind of leading a whole bunch of Americans in the 9Ks there. So let's go split it off here. We go Doug Gim, Ben Griffin, Maverick McNeely in the 9s as well, Kenny. What are we doing in this range?
Like, when it comes to Mac and Power, I'm gonna go Mackenzie Hughes.
Yes.
And he plays better in the wind. I think he's a more established golfer than he is. I think the prices should probably be flipped. And Power, honestly, like he went here before, but but it wasn't like crazy windy until Sunday. And like I said, he grinded out a really solid -1, which was enough. But in the last, since then, maybe even that tournament itself, he hasn't really been the best in wind. I think he's like outside the top 100 in the last 24 rounds in tee to green play, in windy conditions, like extremely windy conditions. Now, I think a lot of people are going to think that way, and I'm a little worried about Mackenzie Hughes' ownership in the 10K, but we shall see. I don't think I'm trying to remember the ownership last week, and I feel like it was bunched. Like everybody was like, there was like 10 to 15 golfers between like 23 and 18% or something like that. Like, yeah, that's what it looked like to me. And so maybe I expect something like that. So, maybe there's not going to be anyone that's going to be super high owned in this 10K range. You could be able to play both freely, but I think I'm going to go with Mackenzie Hughes. And in the 9K range, I'm going to go with Justin Lower as my first cash game cornerstone. Again, another guy who sort of plays above his status quo when in windier conditions. We saw what he did last week with a solid finish. I know it's a completely different course, but again, driver really doesn't how you drive it really doesn't matter. Again, really, because everyone's gonna be clubbing down. So as long as you're not, spraying it with your, 3-iron, hopefully not, or your hybrid.
Good long iron player, Justin.
Yes. you're going to be fine. And he's good from distance also. So, yes. So I want to play him as my first cash game cornerstone. I do like Ben Griffin here also. Again, another guy who plays well in the wind. He tends to get a bunch of birdies. If it gets super windy, he's excellent around the greens. But again, we'll see where his ownership lays. If I see him 20 plus, could be worth a fade this week because of what we talked about earlier. Who do you like?
Yeah, I'm thinking Maverick McNeely, Ben Griffin, and Doug Gim are kind of going to be very, very popular up at the top there at the start of the nines. I would not be shocked if people start with potentially 2 or 3 of those guys, just straight up in the 9K range. I'm out on Doug Gim. I think he's missed 3 consecutive cuts at this golf course. He's not the best putter, not the best short game guy. So far, so good on fading Doug Gim when it comes to being a chalky Doug. So we're cool leaving him out. I love Glover. Lower. Jesus, we got lowers and Highsmiths and all sorts of stuff in here, but Justin Lower.
WD.
WD. Beautiful. Okay, so we got just lower then. I love him too. I think he's sneaky. Andrew Putnam at $9,000 is just, if you don't even think about what he's actually been up to the last little while, he's a short game guru. That's where his strength lies. He's accuracy over distance off the tee, short game wizard, and the iron play has been very solid the last little while. So lots to like from Andrew Putnam there. Maybe we get a bit of a bounce back from Matty Schmidt.
Yes. I was just about to say the same thing. I was thinking the same thing. I do like Schmidt for a bounce back this week because he plays well in windier conditions.
To quote Timbo, a little flop lag.
Yeah, but we're both thinking about that, so that means he's going to be highly
at the same time.
So probably not. So we'll see how it goes. The AK range, Berger is my second cash game cornerstone. Again, another golfer who sort of excels in the wind. We talked about it in the betting segment. When it comes down, he plays well at Pebble. He's won at Pebble. He's won at short courses. He's won at windier conditions. When the scoring is not going to be crazy high, is when you usually see him get that W. I think he's made 5 of his last 6 cuts after coming back from whatever he had to come back from again for a second time because he missed like 6 cuts in a row. You could tell that he was really not doing well towards the late part of last season, but it sort of clicked on at Wyndham. And I think around that time, he said that he felt as good as he has and shown in the fall swing this year with some good finishes, making most of the cuts. I think he's only missed 1. So Berger's going to be my second cash game cornerstone. I made my cash game cornerstone so late today because of work that I forgot the third one. So I think the third one is Novak, going to be right underneath at 8,800. He was on a really nice run, missed a cut a couple of weeks ago, but then came back with a nice top 20 last week. Again, another guy who raises his baseline in the wind. Iron play in the wind has been really, really strong. One of the best in the field. His short game has also been very, very good. Top 5 in my model in extremely windy conditions. In this field last 24 rounds. So he's going to be my third cash game cornerstone this week. Other guys that I do like in this 8K range, Nick Taylor, probably one of my favorite plays, probably on the board, still probably underpriced for the skill level and the amount of talent that we know he has with the wins that he's had in the last couple of years. Again, another guy who plays well in the wind. You know what? It's Bermuda, but it's not going to be that warm. From what I'm hearing, 64 to 70 degrees for the week in Bermuda. I mean, that sort of sucks for these guys. You throw in a little wind.
Yeah, it's cold as balls, dude. It can be like 45 degrees
on the coast. I'm not going to say it's going to be cold, and it's a week away, but, motherfuckers from Canada. So you could probably handle that shit, right? So I really do like Nick Taylor, probably my favorite play, possibly on the board. This week. I'm thinking I might add him to the betting card. Hopefully he's in a good wave. We shall see. I don't know what his number is, but I'm thinking about it.
He's an Austin Eckroyd prototype, Kenny. He just kind of, you don't necessarily see him, but he's always at a decent price. And when he gets in contention, he closes shit out. So love Nick Taylor there as well. Daniel Berger, I can agree with you there too. Nico Echeverria, $8,600. This guy's, he is, I think, on my tool when we were looking earlier, 62nd in FedEx Cup points. He wants to get into those signature events, man. So he's teeing it up again to get inside that top 60.
He can't. You can get into the first couple of signature.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's outside the 60 spot, so he needs to get to like 60, 59, and he's 62nd right now. So he's definitely going to be playing the Century as well. Completely getting off a tangent there. I'm pretty deep in the weeds on baseball right now. But Brendan Todd is going to be probably a great pivot in this range. He is, again, short game specialist. He's been hitting his irons worse than, Ray Rice out of an elevator there, but it's kind of where you're getting Brendan Todd some value. If he chips and putts his way to a W here, I wouldn't be surprised he's not going to win, but 6'4" Brendan Todd, shortest golfer on the tour off the tee. Interesting dynamic there. But I like Nick Taylor there too. Mark Hubbard, if you're in the mood to kind of just have a guy that's going to make the cut, go for it. In the sevens, Kenny, Rico Hoey. I had Tom Hoagie and Rico Hoey on my betting card, and I think they were 2 of the 6 guys that shot over par on Sunday. Like, what on earth was going on there? He's going to win a tournament soon. I love him at $7,900. Great value there. And then Carson Young, he's going to be quite popular as well, Kenny, but playing good golf, right? I mean, the guy was balling out last week, so he's definitely capable of some stuff. And then I think Joel Damon, for someone that's going to be hitting balls low to the ground, he's one of these dudes that can absolutely get it done. And then sprinkle in some Hayden Springer there as well at $7,500 as 4 names I'm kind of looking at in this capacity over here. So who would you be kind of looking at the top of the sevens, Kenny?
I just added Nick Taylor. I was hoping to get a better number, but
Is it like 100?
30 to 1.
30 to 1?
I mean, he's 8,200 in DraftKings. Like,
I guess.
Yeah, the numbers suck. I was thinking about the 3 place each way.
Yeah.
It's 55 to 1. But I want to take the each way points. I think this is probably going to be my final bet, and I'm doing it before Wednesdays. Like, don't do what I do. Don't
Do as I say, not as I do.
Exactly. Don't do that. All right.
So who should the people not take in the 7K range, Kenny?
Yeah, I know. 7K, my last cash game cornerstone is going to be Vince Whaley. You got the course history. We're going, the guy's played well, a couple of top 10s at this course in the last 3 years. He's only missed 1 cut in his last 6 events. It's purely course history and that for that. His numbers aren't going to be good for this event. So, again, once you get into this 7K range, it doesn't really matter what range you're in.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest deal.
It's not gonna, dude.
You got to make some concessions sometimes. And he was a guy I went with. He still got over like $15,000 for your cash game for your other 2 picks. So my cash game cornerstones for this week is going to be Justin Lower at 9,300, Daniel Berger at 8,900, Andrew Novak at 8,800, and Vince Whaley at 7,700. Now, I will say, weeks like this where it is windy and there could be a weather wave advantage, these are the weeks where I most likely will change my cash game cornerstones. I rarely ever do it. 98%, 99% of the time, it's the same. But the only times I ever change it is when I see a wave advantage. So if you see a wave advantage, I probably change them, and you got to see them on Gup's corner for me if that happens. But other 7K golfers that I do like, Grayson Sigg. I know Steve Bamford was on him big time, and I was going to go over a big spiel because Steve's one of the sharpest guys I know, but I totally forgot why he liked him. So I'm just going to go based upon Steve's word. We'll go ahead and read Steve's article at Bamford Golf on Twitter. Go read his article and see why he likes Grayson Sigg, because I had no idea until I read his article, and I forgot now because the edible is kicking in harder than I expected. So just moving on slightly more.
Kevin Strillman, Chad Ramey,
Guys, I like that.
Brian Moore.
Jacob Bridgman at 8,000. Another guy that I
going back to the AK.
Yeah, we're going back to the AK because I really don't give a fuck at this moment in time. Really good around the green, above average in the majority of the stats. And I'm looking for tee to green top 25 in the win in the last 24 rounds in this field. Hayden Springer, I think you spoke of him down here for some reason. You got to worry about him a little bit on the wind, but he's really good with his longer irons. And that's what I'm looking for in guys, especially down here. Nate Lashley, a guy who's again, really strong, long iron player.
Pebble Beach.
Yep.
Played well there.
Yep. Solid guy down here. Chad Rainey, again, another guy who iron play isn't that great, but his strengths are going to be from that wedge range from 125 to 150. Avoids bogeys. Hits a good amount of birdies. You're still going to need to score here, right? It's not like you're just going to get some bogeys.
Yes,
that's what it's going to come down to. So you just need to score here still, especially on the par fives. We got Ryan Moore, another guy that you were talking about. David, 6K. Why don't you go ahead?
Chad Ramey, another guy I wanted to mention before we got out of there too. In the sixes, give me a little bit of Skinny Pete Malnati. Big fan of what, think about what he gets up to on the West Coast. I think he's definitely someone that can get hit done over here, relying on that short game. That's basically what we're kind of looking for. Looking for an elite skill set of one of the four, just in the 6K range. Like if it's irons or chipping or putting, go with it. If one, because those are going to be things you need this week driving. So. Trace Crow, $6,900. Very decent around the greens.
I feel like he withdrew in the fourth round.
He withdrew, after the third round, I think. I don't know. He's $6,900. So if you're going to be in 5 lineups of 150, fine. He's probably like 1% owned kind of thing. That's kind of this range where you're going to be scatter plotting a whole bunch of guys. Maybe like Francesco Molinari, who's won an Open Championship at some point, $6,600. Not playing the greatest golf right now, but it's $6,600 in a shitty ass field that you could price 80% of it at $6,600. So that's kind of what you're looking at over here. Callum Tarrant, I think maybe leaning into some Englishmen, some internationals that are typically used to playing in some really bad conditions. Aaron Badley, love Aaron Badley on short positional courses in the wind. Those Australian boys don't like how they speak and act, but like how they play golf on windy golf courses. And then we can maybe throw some Camilo Villegas out there, maybe find some love in that department. But Jesus, it's barren down here, friends. So you're going to see a lot of balance builds out there probably this week. If you can deal with the crap in the 6K range, you'll have different lineups. So I think that's the way to go. I'm going to be doing 150 lineups this week.
Oh, nice. Very nice. I like David Skins. Decent record here. He's made a good amount of cuts. He hasn't really finished well, but he's made like 4 or 5 cuts, 5 or 6, something like that. He's made enough. So I like him. SH Kim, anywhere where, around the green play is needed, I just feel like is a better course, better suited, especially a shorter course. So he's going to be my Kim of the week. Taylor Montgomery showed some life last week around.
I think he WD'd as well. So
did Taylor Montgomery WD? Well, that sucks because I did like him a lot. So like Carl Wan, again, good finish last year. We talked about him in the betting segment, but yeah, he gets pretty bare. Camille is somebody I'll look at. He might catch a lot of. No, hell no.
Okay. All right. We will end the DFS section here with Kevin Kisner. Not going to be played by Kenny. I might sprinkle him in 3 lineups. Who knows? All right, Kenny. As always, friends, thank you for tuning in. We're going to get into OT after this, but show's brought to you by Mayo. Use that code over at Underdog because you can get up to $1,000 deposit match over there. Kickback golf, baby. We are kicking it back. It's going to be Christmas time. Buy some gifts over there. Use code FGD15. As always, you can find me at The Model Maniac on X and back 9 bets tomorrow on Mayo Media Network at 7 Eastern, where we'll be doing a live Underdog Best Ball draft on Kenny's account because it's legal in Washington. Kenny, what's cooking with you?
Find me on X at KendoVT. Find my article on gupscorner.com. Use promo code GupsCorner. No, use promo code Kenny. Save yourself 30% on a sub to Gups Corner. Come join the fam. All right, it should be fun. It's going to be windy. It's going to be brisk. Let's win some motherfucking money. DJ Nation.
I've been getting dirty money, Jordan Belfort. Stacking penny stocks while I'm flipping these birds. Sipping on Ciroc, trip 'em up with the words. I done popped the Molly and I think it's be my third.
Boom, boom.
I feel like that was long as fuck. How long was that, Mike?
Yeah, we are.
An hour and 23 minutes.
Can we do 12 minutes of the Penguin?
12 minutes of the Penguin. Okay, so what'd you think of the? You haven't seen it yet, Mike, right?
I watched
No,
it
I'm
today.
gonna just do this.
All right, Mike's gonna
Give me a
gonna,
little
Mike's-
wave
all
when
right,
you're
all
done.
right, we'll give you a wave.
Mike's out of here.
All right.
Okay.
So, what's your take? Because I'll go on for like 45 minutes. So you go first.
Okay. So we're speaking strictly the 8th episode right now. Great
You got
season.
anything?
No, I'm just kind of thinking about what happened today in that episode. And you know when he's always touching the back of his head? Like, this guy has got some catastrophic mama's issues. You know, like,
Okay. And also, guys,
touching-
spoiler. Like, if you haven't watched,
yeah, spoiler
Stop.
alert. Yeah.
stop listening now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when the mom's in the coma in the vegetable state there and he puts her hand on the back of his head, this show does such a great job, Kenny, of making one of the biggest cunts in the world semi-likable and make you feel some sort of sympathy for him. Like, he is a complete arsehole. I hate him so much. Killed off his boy Vic after he says, I think of you as family. I mean, Jesus, dude.
But that's why I killed him.
yeah. It's
I mean, that was the reasoning. I mean, like, from a strictly business standpoint, I mean, what he did was evil as fuck. Okay, the Penguin's evil.
evil.
But strictly from a business, like, head of like a cartel, something like that.
Yes.
Seeing enough cartel TV shows to speak on how it looks on TV. Okay, like, he realized that, like, Sophia had his ass, like, with the mom. Like, he showed so much weakness. He looked like a fucking pussy. Just screaming, "Ma, ma!" Okay, another thing, the kid who plays Penguin Jr. as a little boy, such perfect,
Savage.
such perfect fucking casting. Oh my god, it's unbelievable. But anyways, like, it made Penguin look weak in that moment. Like, and Penguin knew it. Everyone knew. He looked, the fans, people watching the show knew it. He looked like a goddamn pussy, right? Right. And me and you, we would look like pussies, but we're not like gangsters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, that is like a big time no, like, in that field of work, right? Because then people run up on your ass, right? That's what's gonna happen. Like, see, or they're gonna use that weakness, what they know you as a weakness, and his weakness was the love of his mother, right? But, like,
Which was also his biggest strength. Like, that's what propped
that's
him.
what he did it. That's what exactly. But that's more him being crazy.
Yeah.
I think. But like, his mother and, like, his. Oh man, I sort of lost my train of thought there.
Dude,
anyway.
when going back to the episode where you find, okay, the best part about this show was the flashbacks as well. They did such a good job of setting the current day and then, going back in time and just showing us how these people got, because Sophia and the Penguin are fucked up in the brain, and finding out how they got there. The HBO did a fantastic job of just getting the guys.
November
Backstory.
Yep. So he's he's crying to his mother, stuff like that, and, like, everyone could see that, like, that's his weakness, his family, right? The family is weakness. And the thing is, it might have been worth it if his mom was like, cool. You're like, no, I don't know shit, right? If she did that, then it could have been different, I think. But no, she was like, I fucking hate you. I've known this shit since the goddamn fucking beginning. All right, I was gonna murder your fucking ass that night at that club when you had that big ass smirk saying, "I'm gonna take care of you, ma."
Yes, dude.
Take care of you.
He wooed the shit out of her. That
He did. He did. That saved his life because he was gonna die. But he didn't know that till then, and he realized that, like, it might not even be worth it to have the fan. Like, not only is it
it makes you weak. Yeah.
not only is it a weakness, it doesn't reciprocate the way it should. And so, since that was his only ever real, like, relationship, really, right? That could have skewed his vision of everything at that moment in time. And so when that happened, that's why he had to kill Vic. Like, when Vic said the word family, I was like, it's over. Like, I knew he was going to die.
Yeah.
I probably had an inkling. I had an inkling beforehand. But when he said family, I knew he was going to die. It was such great, amazing fucking writing right there, man. I mean, God damn it. The writing.
It was so good.
It was so fucking good. What an unbelievable show.
Unreal show. And I love how, as he's walking away, it pans out in the bat.
As the bat said,
like,
yeah. I mean, you knew it had to show up at some point in time, right?
Yeah.
And so having it done that way, because he was like, no one could stop me now. Signal, right? I guess that, okay, I wanted to see the Batman, really, because I mean, you would think that after like the ground blew up in the middle of like a big ass borough with thousands of people dying.
Yeah.
That Batman would have showed up.
I know Batman's still working on Alfred's iron. You know,
that would have been big enough for Bruce Wayne, but it wasn't. I guess it wasn't. It was not. But the way that like he flipped the switch on Sophia was pretty cool. How they got Link involved, and how he got all the seconds.
Yes.
Who felt like they didn't deserve
the
it. Why? And that's another reason why the show is written so well, because again, you're usually root for people like that, right? You root for the guys who are the underdogs, who are the number twos, who can never get to number one because the number ones were always such assholes. Christopher, right? People love fucking Christopher, right? From The Sopranos, right? And he's like one of the most favorite characters on the show. And that's because he can never be the leader. You know, Tony always kept him down, right? Or sometimes Christopher kept himself down. He was a fucking moron. But
heroin.
It's in the same vein here, where you're supposed to root for him. And in the beginning of the show, how it talks about how he's had to come up, and like you watch the the thing he says in like the first couple episodes, where like his favorite gangster was like the guy who got like a parade, right?
Ooh.
And he was like, that's the gangster that I remember from my youth, the guy that helped the neighborhood, right? Like a Robin Hood,
a man of the people. Didn't they call him that?
Well, wait, yeah, and I was like, this is like someone I need to be rooting for, and like, you know what I'm saying? But you know that like he's a really bad guy, but it doesn't really come into full blast. Okay, because he just fucked over everyone, and you know that he really doesn't care, because he fucked over Sophia a couple of times. He's always out blue. But the reason why I think he's doing that is because he's always been number two. He has to find a way, right? He's not even been number two. He's at the bottom. He's a cripple in a goddamn fucking gang. You know how hard that shit must be, right? To be a fucking cripple in that shit and have to deal with it and move up the way he's supposed to move up. Like, all this is supposed to lead up to a feel-good story, right? Like, all of this is supposed to lead up to a feel-good story. But, they easily implant every episode something that he's not right, and it's fucked up, and he's off in the head. And it culminates in the 7th episode, where the first flashback where he kills his brothers. And there's absolutely no remorse.
No remorse. Sits there just cuddling his mom, like happiest day ever. Happy.
Could be. And so you're like, okay, this guy is something wrong. And he's really, really a evil person. That's when you see it. And then, and again, it culminates even more when he kills Vic.
Yeah.
Again, family.
Yeah.
Family is always, it's that recurring theme, with his mother, with his brothers, always keeping him down. His family's always been a weakness, and he knows that it's been a weakness because his mom is known for so long. He just found that out, right? It's such an amazing show. It's
incredible.
If you listen to this and haven't watched it, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go fuck.
You can still watch it knowing all this stuff. It's just so good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right, Mike. We'll get you back in here. Great show. So
did you finish? You finished Lost, or you were like 2 episodes down?
I finished it.
So you watched the last episode.
I did.
So you have no idea. You have no idea what happened.
I do kind of. I've
What
read
is your
into
take?
it.
What do you think happened at the end of Lost?
Well, the fact that the only thing that was weird to me was everything made sense. Okay, I don't know why everybody's in an outrage of like, oh, the ending sucked. You know what I mean? Because I get it. Like they all, everything that happened, right? And the when they did the sideways, I don't know what it was called, the flash sideways. Yes, yeah. That's basically their purgatory into heaven, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, basically, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. Okay. So, but
That's it. And then they all had to meet. They all had to remember.
Yes.
Once they all met, once they all remembered, because they are bonded.
Yes.
They are connected in some type of way that it doesn't really say, but you can guess. But they are connected. So they have to go all in together to, the final whatever that they have to go to. And the thing is, some people just aren't ready yet, like Michael, and stuff like that. And, some people didn't make it like Michael. Like
Michael, yeah.
Yeah. So, he murdered fucking two of them. I mean, you can't really be connected when
It's true.
Murdering people in the group. But
The only thing that was weird to me was I don't know how the fuck Jack got out of the cave after he put the glowing egg back on.
Oh, okay, yeah. But then some shit happened, and he laid there, and he saw the plane pass by.
Yeah, that was the only thing.
passed.
But Hurley was so concerned about he's never going to get out of this cave, and then he just magically ends up
Yeah,
out of it. That was that was the only thing that was weird to me. But
yeah, that was weird.
other than that-
One fact of trivia, real quick: who played the Penguin first on TV or movies? Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Fucking Mick from Rocky, Burgess Meredith. So the cut man, Rocky Balboa, his trainer,
what year was that?
Mick.
Yeah, that's Rocky's also. I've watched like none of them.
You've never seen what the fuck is Rocky?
I know what it's about. I mean, Adrian, yeah, like it's gonna win, it's gonna get knocked out. I don't know. It's like I don't know.
What's wrong with you?
Maybe on Friday, Mr. Man, you can watch some Rocky movies.
No, if we're gonna do a Rocky. Yeah, so you got to watch all of them.
Yeah,
all of them, and Apollo, the three Apollos.
Those ones are
so
good.
you got 9 movies to watch.
Yeah,
All fighting.
Marathon.
You got 9 movies.
9 rounds.
Yep.
We'll do. We probably won't get it done by RSM, which is our last pod. So the century after the century, or if we do a look ahead pod beforehand.
Yeah.
We'll have to do one for the Rocky movies, because you're not seeing the Rocky movies is blasphemy.
I know. But I've got like 3 weeks till my kid shows up, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have. I've been like frantically just doing shit like crazy. I've never been this organized in my life because I need to. I've never been this so far ahead of schedule on stuff, and I'm like, because it's going to be a disaster when it shows up. Yeah, so
it's going to be money.
It's going to be
You're going
good.
to be a great pop.
time wise,
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it.
Oh, time wise, you're going to be fucked.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you're going to do. Drop the other shows. You're going to do this.
exactly.
That's it. That's it.
No,
Because you're not going to want to do. I guarantee you're not going to want to do as much as you're doing.
I know, dude. That's the thing.
No,
I'm scared
So you're gonna,
about
so
my
you're
work.
going to have to make decisions.
Yep. Which is
We could talk
I've been
We could talk about
some live coaching. Yeah, we could do some live coaching later, Kenny. Yeah,
Perfect.
we'll get Mike out of here so he can cut this.
I don't even
the
know
rings episode.
what happened in this episode.
I've got
now,
timestamps.
because-
That's all I need. So
Oh, what's the name? How are we naming it?
I think we just go with the dog dominator.
No, my face looks so much fatter without the beard, though. Like I'm looking at myself right now, like in the camera.
But the stash it takes away from looking at you.
And I need the Moonjaro to hit harder. Need that shit to hit
Double
harder.
dose of Moonjaro.
maybe-
baby.
We don't want to just do the Butterfish Bermuda Championship
Yeah, I mean that's
or the Butterfish Championship or
that's cool. Like what?
I feel like we got to give some tribute to our guy. I mean, that
We
was.
didn't even talk about Butterfish, but yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's what
You still got the bet. I mean, you still.
Oh, no, I need to do something. I'll eat like 2 pounds of sushi or something. I don't know.
2 pounds of sushi. Oh Lord.
No, you
No, I'm joking. We'll do something.
Then you can wear diapers with your baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, I'll figure something out too, and I'll
right.
put some more things in there. All right, boys.
No, Butterfish Bermuda Championship. That's fine.
Okay, perfect.
That's
Yeah,
All right.
it's a simple one. All right, boys.
All right,
That's
next
good.
week's the last one. Do we want to do a preview?
Absolutely. Let's go, dude. Preview. We can do it let's do it 2 weeks before, or we can do. Do you want to do it soon or do it like closer to?
No. Closer to the end of this. Closer.
We can
to
do like a
the
Christmas episode, maybe like a week before.
We'll chat about it. So we'll do it.
Sure.
That's
Just
fine.
keep us in the loop.
All right.
Okay.
All right, boys.
Have
All right.
a good week.
You too, buddy.
See ya.
Bye.
All right.